Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to solve mate in 3 or 4 puzzles.
Yes, for today we prepared very interesting puzzles for you. Hope that these positions will help you to understand some tactics ideas and also will improve your calculations. So first we're gonna do the puzzle mate in 3. Yeah, I flipped the chessboard because in this position we're gonna play for black, and black has to mate the white king in 3 moves, and all moves should be forced. Yeah, it means that we should act with check. So let's first think about candidate moves. Yeah, as I can see, we have 4 pieces that can make a check for the king. Yeah, so maybe we can start with a knight first. Yeah, so what happens if we play knight f3? So probably white gonna capture. Yeah, let's think. Do we have any good checks in this position? It looks like the rook or the queen can't check. Yeah, maybe just the pawn. What do you think, Tara?
You could go pawn to h2.
Yeah, pawn goes to h2, so king captures, and of course we don't have mate in 1 in this position. That's why I think that knight f3 was a mistake. Yeah.
Let's see what would happen if the king just moves. If
Uh,
you go to f3 and the king moves.
okay. Actually, I don't want to move the king because if I move to h1, you have a discovered check with the queen. If I
Yeah,
move to f1, yeah, you have a discovered check with the rook. But okay, let's see. So for
I
example,
just
king
wanted to.
f1.
So now you could go knight to d4.
Okay, you want to go back? Oh, I know what you want. Okay, so I probably play king e1.
Then you can take the queen.
Yeah, of course, position is absolutely winning for black, but our task was to find mate. Yeah, so it's an extra queen, but no mate in 3. Yeah. Okay, so knight f3 doesn't work. Yeah. We can try to sacrifice the queen maybe. So what happens if we play queen h1? Unfortunately, queen to g2 wouldn't be a checkmate because of the rook. So that's why I'm just curious what happens after queen h1. So
Now
probably
the
the
king
king
can move.
captures. Yeah.
And then if you go rook to f1,
hmm
the king will just move to h2.
Oh, it would be so nice to mate it in 1 move. Yeah. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, the pawn is unprotected, so the king just takes it. So
And you can't go rook to h1 or any other move because then they'll just take.
hmm Yeah. Okay, so let's think what else we can do in this position. So we have tried the knight, we have tried the queen. Maybe it's a rook turn. So what if we try to move the rook?
The first thought when you think rook to f1, you think it's a bad move, that they'll just take a rook. But let's see what's the follow-up.
Yeah, so let's discuss all possibilities for white in this position. Yeah, of course, the king captures, but it's also possible for the king to move to h2. What would you do in this position?
If the king moves to h2, then I would play queen to h1.
Yeah, so instead of mate in 3, we got mate in 2. Good for us. Yeah, so let's go back to this operation. Yeah, if the king captures. So let's think what we can do.
I
Now it
think
should be
we
a
can
check
go
again.
queen to h1.
Yeah, so of course we can play queen f3, we can also play queen g2, but to be honest, I don't think that to sacrifice the queen in this position would be so good. So that's why we would like to save our pieces. Sometimes you can sacrifice a lot, but sometimes if you sacrifice all your pieces, you will not have any pieces to attack the king, yeah, to mate it. So queen h1, yeah, I see just
No,
one
the
move.
king's only move is f2.
Yeah, so do we have mate in 1 in this position?
So when we're looking at mate in 1, we have to look at the king's escape squares. Like the king's only move it would be king to e3. So we need a piece to control the square and also checkmate. If we go knight to g3, it controls that
g4,
square.
yeah?
Knight to
Mm-hmm.
g4.
Yeah. So knight goes to g4. Yeah, really, the king can't get to e3. And the queen controls the first rank, g2 and f3. So very good. Knight g4 is a checkmate. So let's repeat all together this combination one more time. So first of all, we sacrifice the rook. Yeah. What was the plan? We want to deflect the king from controlling h1. When the king is here, our queen gets to the first rank. So the king moves to f2. Yeah, and also don't forget to use new pieces. When you have an attack, it's usually to use as many pieces as you can. So that's why knight g4 is a checkmate. Okay, so
And
I hope that
it won't work if you just move the same piece and keep checking the king. You'll have to try to get like different pieces. If you
of
just
course.
if checks, it won't help.
Yeah. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this puzzle and you don't have any questions. So probably, yeah, we can go to the next one. So this time we still play for black. I see black pieces close to the white king. So we still have to mate the king in 3 moves, and we should be very careful. If we make a move without check, our own king could be checkmated. Rook takes f8, yeah, would be mate on 1 for the black king. So we don't have time to do moves without check, yeah? So let's think what checks do we have in this position for the white king. So Tara, what do you think?
I think that there's only one check in the position.
So you mean that we have to sacrifice the queen? Yeah,
Maybe
so
let's see if it works.
yeah, so we have to sacrifice it, yes, so we have to risk if we want to win. Yeah, so white doesn't have any choice, just king takes a2. Okay, so now it should be a check again. I think we have a bishop, we have a pawn, so which piece it would be better to move?
I think there. I shouldn't think. I think we should move the pawn.
Yeah, because I think if we move the bishop to b1 or to b3, yeah, so we just sacrifice it, but there is no check. So I think that just a queen would be enough for our sacrifices. So yeah, b3. So this bishop is pinned, but it helps us, right? So that's why the white king can't get to a3. And the only one move for the white king is king a1. So what would you do after this? Do we have mate in 1?
We do. If we go rook to a4.
Yeah, so rook goes to a4. It's a checkmate. The king can't get to b1, so good for us. Let's repeat one more time. I like this combination. So we sacrifice the queen because we want to open up the file, yeah, for the rook and just destroy position of the king. Then pawn goes to b3, king a1, and rook a4. So nice puzzle. Yeah, destruction position of the king. So I like it. Yeah. Now we go to the next level, yeah, because we're gonna do puzzles made in 4. And this time we play white, and we have to find forced checkmate for the black king in 4 moves. So let's think what we can do. So what checks do we have in this position? Probably not so many,
When we have a mate in 3 or 4, we have to look at all the possible checks
of course.
because one of them could lead to a checkmate.
I agree. So what checks do you see, Tara?
We could go knight to f7.
Yeah, knight to f7. So no choice, just king h7. So I don't think that we have to repeat the position and move the knight back. Yeah, so it should be something else. So let's think what we can do.
And moving the knight to g5 wouldn't be good because then the pawn can capture.
Yeah, I agree with you. So,
So here, maybe we could try a queen sacrifice.
wow.
So we could try queen takes h6.
Okay, you are brave. Okay, so queen captures h6. The king can't take because the knight is protecting the queen. So the only move is g7 captures h6. So we have several checks. Yeah, we can just try a discovered check in this position, yeah, when we open up the 7th rank for the rook. But I think it's not a problem to protect the king. So maybe it would be good for us to make a double check in this position.
And the reason why double check is better is because it'll be forced. You
Yeah,
have to move your king.
of
So
course.
if you move knight to g5,
Oh, knight goes to g5. Okay, nice. So king h8. Yeah, so if it's a double check, just the king escapes, so no one can help.
now there's checkmate in one if we go rook to h7.
Yeah, so very nice. Nice puzzle. So let's repeat one more time. Yeah, we move the knight away because we want to open this diagonal for the queen. Yeah, then we want to open the seventh rank. We don't want the pawn to stay on g7. After this, we use a double check, and then mate in one move. Okay, so hope that you enjoyed this puzzle. So now let's start with this one. So this position is also very nice. We play white, and we still have to mate the black king in 4 moves. So let's think what we can do, because I see that white has so many checks. Yeah, so rook a8, rook f7, knight e6, queen h6, rook takes f6. So let's think what. Maybe we can try rook takes f6. Let's
Yeah,
discuss this move first. Okay, so check. Yeah, probably the queen captures. So
yeah.
what can we do after this? Like rook a8. Okay, the king escapes. So what other checks do we have? Maybe knight
Knight to
f5.
f5.
Yeah. Okay, so what if I just play king f7? So I don't think that white has mate in 1 in this position, right?
White doesn't have mate in one.
Yeah, of course. So,
There's lots of checks, but there's no mate in one.
yeah. So probably rook takes f6 wasn't the best plan. So let's try something else. What ideas do you have, Tara?
Another check could be rook to a8.
Okay. I still try king g7, I guess.
Then you could try knight to f5.
Okay. Oh, it's a fork. Okay. I move here.
You can win the queen, but it won't be checkmate.
Yeah. So let's think if white has mate in this position. Mate in 2. Yeah, if everything is right, it should be mate in 2. So we can check and maybe even try queen d5. Yeah, but it's still not a mate. But of course, position is winning. So, okay, let's go
And
back.
I think that the rook was important to keep the king at the back.
Of course, yeah. We
At the
don't
back
want it
rank.
to escape at the 7th rank. So maybe we can try to use a knight for the check.
Yeah. So we can try knight to e6.
Okay, so I see just one possible move for the king. It's king to e8. Okay, let's think what happens then.
Our first thought might be queen to d7, but that square is controlled by the knight.
Yeah, so maybe we can try to block the king, yeah? So I think that I start seeing some interesting plan. Yeah, so if some black pieces will get to f8 and d8, I think we will have a mate plan. So what can we do with the queen?
We could go queen to d8.
Okay, queen to d8. Okay, so the king can't capture because it's protected by the knight. So the bishop takes. What can we do after this?
Then you can go rook to f8.
So we can sacrifice a rook. Okay, so the king still can't capture, the rook takes. And now, if everything is right, it should be mate in 1. Yeah? So let's think.
There's two checks, but only one will give checkmate. If you
Mm-hmm.
go rook to c7, the bishop could just capture.
Yeah, so if knight c7, the bishop captures. Okay.
So we could go knight to g7.
Yeah, so knight goes to g7 in this position, and it's a checkmate. So very nice. So we sacrificed a lot of pieces. So let's try one more time. So knight e6, yeah. Then we found a nice plan. Yeah, we want like kind of smothered mate. So we sacrifice the queen first, then we sacrifice the rook, yeah. And after knight g7, black has nothing to do. So very nice puzzle. Yeah. I hope
And
that you
notice
enjoyed it.
that and notice that all of the moves were with checks, so it's all forced.
Of course. Yeah. Okay, so probably it was the last puzzle for today.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video to others. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye!
Bye.